Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another one of my daily global COVID-19 shows. My name is Sree Sreenivasan. I'm the Marshall Loeb Visiting Professor of Digital Innovation at Stony Brook School of Journalism. You are live right now on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. Please hit share right now so that your friends and family can join us. You can find me on each of those platforms: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Please hit share. Please comment. We want as many people around the world to join us right now. This is so simple for you to do, and you can share and bring some light in these very dark times. I want to ask all of you to comment and tell us where you're watching from, how you're feeling. This is the 30th episode of this series. That means I've been on lockdown in Manhattan for 30 straight days. And I'm committed to doing these shows because so many of you have told me how uplifting it is, how much you enjoy this, how much you need this. And I can tell you, I need this a lot more than you need this. So I'm very grateful to each of you for being here and being part of the show. I want to show you Jonathan Borstein is with us from the East Village. Ashok is watching in Kerala in India. My wife is watching in the other room. This is such an exciting event today. Please find me on those platforms so you can join us and be part of this show. And just look who is joining us today as our guests. We're going to have Manisha Koirala, the Bollywood star and author of Healed, How Cancer Gave Me a New Life. We'll also be joined by Ambassador Sandeep Chakravorty, who is the Indian Consul General in New York, and journalist Lavina Melwani. They are each on Twitter. Manisha is M. Koirala on Twitter. Sandeep is Chakraview 1971. And Lavina is Lavina Melwani on Twitter. Please hit share. Bring your audiences. Share this with the world. Tag your friends. We're being live tweeted by Rose Horowitz 31 and Vandana_Menon. And we hope to also be shared on the India in New York Consul General's page, the Consulate General. My father is joining us from Kerala. Thank you for watching, Dad. Tim is watching Pennsylvania. He says he likes the blue shirt. We call this a salwar kameez, or this is the kameez part of that. Paula is watching from Tallahassee. And 30 Days in New York says Mary. We have people joining from everywhere. There's Enrique from New Jersey. Rose is tweeting at Rose Horowitz 31. Kirshan says, stay safe in Montreal. Please continue to share this right now. And our hashtag is Sree COVID19 Call. And before we start, just couple of more things. I have to pay some bills. And so for that, I want to tell you that we have a wonderful sponsor, a couple of sponsors that I want to alert you to. One is the New York organization called FrontlineFoodTrucks.com. Frontline Food Trucks, they are raising money to pay for food delivery into NYU Langone, a hospital here in New York. And you can support them by going to FrontlineFoodTrucks.com and making a donation right now, FrontlineFoodTrucks.com. And they have donations from La Colombe, Sweet Green, and Chobani. And this ad was paid for by a third-party donor, so not even one penny goes away from the food trucks and goes directly to help this great cause. If you would like to be a sponsor of a future show, please get in touch with me. We have very reasonable rates so that you can be a sponsor of this and we can support multiple organizations and make this a bigger opportunity to help more people. I also want to thank our other sponsor, Pratham USA. I've been working with them for several years now, and they have a very important new project, RISE, Responsive Innovation to Sustain Education. It's their campaign. You can find that at prathamusa.org right now. If you go to prathamusa.org, that's money that will help the education of kids in India. All right, without further ado, we are now ready for our fabulous show. Let me start by bringing in our ambassador, who's going to be joining us. Ambassador Sandeep Chakravorty is here. Let's bring him on. How are you, sir?
Namaskar, Sree. I'm good. It's a bright, sunny day outside, but as you know, we are also in lockdown, and I lost the count of days. You have the count of days, but I have lost the count of days. And for us, somehow time has stopped. We don't have a count of the days. It's like non-stop things are going on. But Monday and Sunday is now the same for many of us, as we work from home and we try to do as much as we can do. But we are good, and we are surviving, and we are trying to be virus free and following the instructions of the New York government.
Thank you, and thank you for being here. I know how busy you are at the moment. Daryl is one of your constituents. He's in Richmond Hill in the great Indo-Caribbean community. As you know, there's a wonderful Indo-Carib community here in New York, and Karthik is watching from Mumbai, and he's tagging his friends and saying you shouldn't miss this. All of you, please do that. Tag your friends so they can join us. Tell us about this video I'm going to play for everybody now.
Well, you see, as you yourself know and are doing, our life has been turned around completely, and with this lockdown and social distancing, we had to innovate. And, diplomacy is all about meeting people and connections. So we could not do it physically. So we reinvented ourselves, I think, rather quickly. And we learned how to work from home, but we were prepared for this kind of an eventuality. So as they say, if you prepare in peace, you are ready for war. That kind of a situation happened. We were having these platforms, and we were quite savvy as far as social media is concerned, and that has helped us enormously. We were on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, you name it, and we also had this ability to work from home. We never used it. All our telephones were on internet-based phones, and even our intercom is working. You can call from home, and the intercom responds in somebody's home in New Jersey. So we had technological, the backbone was there, and very quickly we moved out of that. And this video basically shows how we have innovated, and I'm calling it COVID diplomacy, but basically trying to reach out to our engaged, being present there. Because my worry was that people should not feel that in the lockdown the consulate has disappeared. So I want to be right there in the world, in the virtual world maybe, but I think the virtual is now the real, and the real is a bit scary. So I am trying to be there, and these are some of these slogans that we prepared, and our consulate is buzzing in the virtual world with activity. And in fact, I will leave this conversation midway, because we have a talk by a very eminent expert, Dr. Vishwadluri, who will speak about the relevance of Mahabharata in today's world. So a lot of people again there would be joining, and from all over the world. So I was just trying to show in the video our programming, our events. As people stay at home, we want to reach people in their homes.
So let's show them the video. Consul General Saab, you can speak over this if you like. If you want to highlight anything, you can do that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, we had a web application where people connected to us, and we very quickly adapted that to address the COVID queries. And a lot of people have been stranded here, and we received more than 5,000 queries on medical prescriptions. And, we were able to quickly put it out, and we are responding to everyone who needs a medical prescription by connecting them to doctors of Indian origin in various parts of the United States. And this service that we are providing is actually going out to people all over, not only our jurisdiction, but also in other parts of the United States. And we feel very satisfied that this is one need which arose, because, parents of Indian Americans who were visiting to spend time with their families have got stranded because of the suspension of the flights. So this is one service we were providing. And now, if you have a COVID query with the consulate, you just go onto our website. There is a form, there's an online platform, and we respond almost immediately to the queries. And on all our platforms, we have received hundreds and thousands of queries. And I believe that even if you're not able to help because of various constraints, people value very much a response, and then I think the challenge is response. Even if the response is in negative, I think people appreciate it and value it, and I think I don't want to slip in any way. So all these technological platforms are helping us in at least responding to people.
Thank you, Ambassador. And I love this photo of Ashish, who said, you can see he's got holy colors on his face, and he says, "Prepare in peace, beautifully said." So that's really nice. Stefan is watching from Ramsey, New Jersey. We love Bollywood productions. So let's bring a great expert on Bollywood, a wonderful Indian American writer. Lavina Melwani is joining us. Hi, Lavina.
Hi. It's good to be together, but alone, I guess. We're doing the social distancing thing. But I'm so excited that we have Manisha today on the program. And in fact, last night I watched a lovely movie, Maska. It helped, on Netflix. And it kind of helps you to go through this difficult time. It gets your mind off things. But otherwise, I guess in New York, the world has turned around completely. And, everybody's living a kind of nightmare and trying to make the best of it. And actually, I have to kind of write about it every week for CNBC TV 18. So, kind of, you're living it 24/7, really.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lavina. And tell us how are you doing? How's your health? How's the family? Talk about that, please.
Well, everybody's fine. I think it's also a little bit, how your mind is, how you plan to do things. So you just have to be positive. And I guess, you look on the brighter side that you're finally getting to really catch up on all your reading, your writing, talking to friends, which never happens much, talking to friends on the phone. And social media makes it so much easier too. And also, there's a way of being able to return back, which I find very satisfying at this time. Because, I'm a part of Children's Hope India, which is in India, we have about 20 projects there. And the exciting thing was we decided to get them into making masks. All these women who actually all know how to stitch but have nothing to stitch, who don't have income coming in or employment. So Children's Hope provided them with actually sewing machines. And they made about 2,000 masks, which they actually gave to a hospital over there. So these are all the things. Another school that we have, it's called in Bhopal, Children's Hope Girls School. And there too, the students are making the masks. So because this has become a global problem, like, India's in it, America's in it. So I think wherever we help out, it just makes you feel better and able to cope with the day.
Thank you, Lavina. And now I think we're all ready to bring live from Mumbai right now, Manisha Koirala. Let's see if we have her. There she is. Hello.
Hi, namaskar.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Namaskar.
In fact, let's all do namaste so that everybody can see this.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Manisha ji, for being with us. We are so honored to have you. I know you love New York City as much as you love Mumbai and Kathmandu. You are a global citizen, a global person. Thank you. Tell us how you are, how you're feeling, what is happening in Mumbai right now.
Well, it's been like everywhere else in the world, pretty challenging for all of us. And we've been trying to follow strictly the government protocol, whatever the instruction has been given to us. And it's been a couple of weeks locked down, and trying to be very vigilant about what's going on in the world, and trying to keep up with the news. It's I'm sure. I've been reading about New York, and my heart's been broken because New York is one of my favorite cities in the world. Always dreamed someday I would live there. So when I see such a thing happening in New York, I have many, many, many friends and family there. So I was very concerned. Luckily, in India, things are not that bad, and there is a rampant amount of testing which is being done, which is going to be hugely useful, I feel. So I think the lockdown was done timely over here, and so everything is within control. Or so that's the feel we get as of now.
Thank you so much. Let's just bring in some comments. People are posting here. Vandana, who's live tweeting, says, Muska made me desperately miss Irani cafes in Bombay. Just want some keema pav right now. And Gary says, Namaste. I know Lavina has, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying you should come to Rustam Cafe.
Yes, absolutely.
That's where I run in the film. In
yeah, so I should show you in our audience that you were in this apartment just last year, and this is a photo of all your some of your New York City fans. And I made sure I'm wearing the same kurta that I wore that day, and there you are in the middle, right there. This was we put this together in about 10 hours notice, and all these people showed up to come and greet you.
Yeah, I think I'll forever remember that, because it's such a warm welcome to see so many people from diverse sections of society coming up and enjoying an evening. Thank you for that, Sree. It was a really memorable evening. Thank you. And
we always thought there would be so many more. We took these gatherings for granted. I know at the consulate, you do some wonderful gatherings there, Mr. Consul General. How have you adjusted to this socially distant, physically distant, but virtually connected? I know you also live in the consulate, right? You have an apartment in the consulate. So how is it's a little unusual for you compared to everybody else.
It is very, very unusual for me. There are two aspects in which we have to operate. As an Indian in the USA, we are affected doubly. We are affected by what's happening in New York. And, I don't want to scare anybody, but the situation has been very difficult and grim. And, the moment your mind wanders into thinking about those people who are sick or are dying, it really bothers you at a psychological level. At the same time, you are affected and your mind and heart is in India, and you are rooting for India, and you don't want the same things to happen in India. So we are actually torn between our physical presence in New York and our mind and hearts being in India. So it's a very challenging time. But and I have got really disconnected. My work actually involves meeting people, and I am an extrovert. And I like, for me, meaning of diplomacy is connecting to people. So that has been very, very brusquely, torn apart. But I have tried to reinvent myself. But virtual connection, your mind is tiring, but physically, you don't feel the presence of other individuals. And the vibration is not there. So, there is some sense and merit in meeting people, shaking hands or giving people a hug or being in the presence of people, you get the positive vibes. I think that technology has not been able to replace, and that is difficult to obtain. But again, I would say that, I'm trying to live in two worlds, trying to be sensitive to the requirements of people who are in difficulty, who are stranded, who need help, from arranging accommodation. And every day we are getting such tragic and horror stories where people need help. I just don't want to even get into that here, but that has a toll on you, because every day we learn about stories where people are not well, and their situation is quite difficult because there's no way you can get onto a plane and reach home, India, and people's parents are dying, children are sick, and they are stranded. So it's a humanitarian issue. But at the same time, I have to keep my spirits high, do my programming online, reach out to people, be there, right from yoga to Mahabharata to Bollywood. I am trying to engage with people. Some may say that, why are you doing all this? You should be focusing on the humanitarian aspect. I just want to say that we are doing both, and one doesn't replace the other. They are not mutually exclusive. You have to do both. Otherwise, people will get sullen, upset. They will get depressed, and we don't want to do that. So we are trying to, reach out to people. So we are trying to do both. For instance, tomorrow we have a psychiatrist who's speaking about the mental issues involving a lockdown. So we're trying to bring in programming, social we are getting motivators, life coaches, storytelling, all kind that is happening. But that doesn't mean that the humanitarian aspect of my work is not happening. Right round the clock, we are reaching out to people, and my officers are taking risk and visiting people at home, because parents are calling up and saying that daughter is feeling depressed, she is feeling lonely, she is not responding to phone calls. We are going to the buildings and we are asking the building management to call them up. You're knocking at the door. So we are even going down to that level to reach help people. So it's a different kind of work. We have never done that before. But I think nothing now in this COVID world, nothing is surprising. We can be very sure about it. The world has, I think, changed forever.
Yeah, thank you. And look, Ashish says, impressed with the concern and human touch from the Consul General. Glad to have him in New York. So thank you. We really appreciate that.
Anybody who's
watching, we have the Consul General for a few more minutes, and then he has to go to his next event. So if you have any questions, please post them here. Well, I hope Sandeep ji will be able to do more together in the weeks ahead. Look at this other comment. Good work, sir. All the best for what you're doing. I think that's really important. Let me ask Manisha first to talk a little bit about her book, because she's not just an actress, but this is her book, Healed. And this is a book that Indian Express said narrated with disarming honesty. Healed has both the raw truth of a journal and the wisdom of experience. Healed, how cancer gave me a new life. Can you talk about that, please?
Yeah, Sree, this book I wrote because I wanted to comprehend my situation and understand what really happened for myself, and then also be useful for the people who are going through some kind of a health crisis or any kind of a crisis. So it talks, actually, it's my journey from the time I get cancer to my recovery, and during my recovery, how I reflect on life and certain promises I make during that time, the quality of life that I was going to live, and stuff like that. So for me, it was a huge kind of aha moment when I thought when I was dying. And that moment, I realized the value of life, value of health, value of personal equation with other people, my relationships, my equation with my work, basically a commitment to live a good quality life. So, and also I kind of have been honest about my journey into a lot of my roadblocks in my life, because I feel if we have to write about ourselves, we need to have a little bit of honesty. Otherwise, there's no point, just sugarcoating everything. And I have fully kind of owned my flaws, and I'm a work in progress. So I'm consistently trying to improve myself and trying to learn my way into this whole thing. And yeah, I mean that the whole book is about health, of how to be. Yes, sir. I was.
Go ahead,
so
show the
honored.
photo. Go ahead, Sandeep. Please show the
Thank
photo.
you, Sandeep. I was
Yeah,
really,
No, I
really,
was
really
just,
honored.
I dug out this. Oh,
We're gonna.
Yes,
God.
I was,
No, this is the book release of in Asia Society. What a wonderful event it was.
thank you, Your Excellency.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing the honor. Yeah, it was a wonderful moment. I met my doctors there also. I was really, really happy.
Yes.
So this book, actually, I talk about mind, body, spirit of being healthy. It's physically trying to do whatever is right, as well as mental health, trying to be positive in really tough situation, like the situation that we are facing right now. And spirit, I feel somehow divine nature, whatever one believes in, kind of helps you pull through or sustain through the tough times, through the crisis. So I've stressed on that as well in the book, because while I was in New York with one of the best doctors doing what they were doing with me, on me, I also had the responsibility of doing the right thing by me. So me and my support system, which is my immediate family, kind of dealt with the situation, and it's basically on that.
And the book has some wonderful photographs, including a picture, if I can show you, of you in Central Park. Where is that? There it is. Let me I can bring it. There it is, Central Park. Look at that. That's a great photo of you there. And I wanted to ask, His Excellency, our Ambassador Sandeep Chakravorty, who is the Consul General here. You know, a lot of Indians are pointing out that American healthcare system, which is arguably the best in the world. Manisha came all the way from India for her treatment, for example. It's not being shown in the best of light now. And you know that New York City, for example, has one of the highest number of COVID cases going on and deaths in the entire world, not just as a country, but as the state and city. So can you talk a little bit about that and the faith that you have in the system being here? And Indians are pointing out how much better the situation is in India so far. Can you explain that? And then I know you need to leave.
Sandeep, I think it's a very relevant question because the it is conveyed particularly in the media in the West is that our response has only been the lockdown. I think that's very much far from the truth. We have very detailed briefings from our government as to the measures that the government has taken. It's not only the lockdown is to prevent the expansion of the growth of the virus, to stop from growing. But I think India is also prepared to handle the cases. India is doing testing in a large scale. India is also prepared. We have isolation wards. The numbers are in millions. I think we have 1.7 million beds for isolation of patients who may be potentially infected by the virus. And we have done a great deal of study about what has happened in China, what has happened in Italy, and what is the rate at which people get infected and need hospitalization. And the numbers are that you need 2 ICU bed per 10,000 of adult population. So I think our government has prepared and has provided for that kind of emergency also. What we should also understand that India is a unique country with its complexities, and also our response is very sui generis. There is no rule book to follow, no playbook to copy. We are trying to do the best we can given the circumstances. Given the fact that India is a complex country, India is not a very developed country. Our resources, we have resource constraints. But despite that, I think our response has been quite satisfactory, and we have got positive feedback from organizations such as WHO, and also people who have been following the story in China. And even in Maharashtra, I am seeing lots of reports where the government has been proactively, working on containing the virus. And another point which I want to highlight is that India is a federal state. States have most of the responsibilities as far as public health is concerned. But I think unique cooperation is emerging between the center and the states. And even if where the states are ruled by the opposition, we are finding a lot of cooperation between the center and the states. And we are finding even opposition leaders applauding the stringent steps that have been taken by the central government. I think this shows the strength of India when there is a need and scarcity or a difficult situation. I think Indians know very well how to pull together and work together, and I think we can be a really an example to the world. Although it is early to predict how the virus will go ahead of the curve and flatten the curve, then I think the Indian story will be the story on epidemic in such gigantic proportions. So I am so far quite happy with our management of the situation. What we may need to do more is to tell this story, and I'm so happy, Sree, you asked me this question.
Thank you. One comment before you go about the medical situation here. How do you feel your confidence level? You've told us the confidence level in India, but what about your confidence level in New York City and the people of New York?
I think the people of New York are amazing, and the way they have responded, there is no lockdown here, there's a pause. but people are not venturing out the guidelines, and within days, earlier people were not wearing masks when they were venturing out for the essential or the necessities, but now I am seeing people are wearing masks although they're not infected, and there's great deal of discipline and support for the health workers. That is something amazing. I think, the kind of support which people are extending to the health workers. I think that really deserves applause. People are cheering the health workers. They're sewing masks for them, donating food. Even our community, the Indian community, all our community organizations are supporting the health workers. I think these are very, very very, very notable efforts by the New York people. I also believe, reading the newspapers and hearing the governor, that New York has peaked, and hopefully we are now entering the decline, and in the coming weeks our death rate will go down, and I think then the virus will be contained. So I'm very, very hopeful. I think we'll peak, and now it will be a steep decline. I'm just hoping that happens. But hats off to the people of New York for being so disciplined and supporting the authorities in this lockdown or situation that we have.
Thank you so much.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yes,
There is people in India listening to you and this chat. I just want to say, there is a lot of requests and pleas from people in India that their family members and students who are stranded here should be put on evacuation flights and other things. I just want to say that at the moment, people are safe where they are. It's not a good idea to travel. International flights are certainly not a good idea. And, everybody could be an asymptomatic carrier. Potentially everyone is infected. So, it's not advisable to travel now. People are safe where they are. Just wait for the situation to improve, both here in New York and in India. And once commercial flights are resumed, people can go back to India. So I think it's important to console and also give assurance to the parents and family members back home in India that whosoever is here is safe. We haven't heard of any student getting sick or infected or hospitalized. So that means they're doing well. The students are very resilient. They know how to manage. And if a student has an issue, they may just reach out to us. We will make sure that his requirements here are met. So this is one message I wanted to convey very to parents in India.
I like this message. We have a fan in Trivandrum, in Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala. My friend Alex Ajit Philip says, great work by His Excellency Ambassador Sandeep Chakravorty. So you deserve a vacation in Kerala when this is over.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar. We'll let you go. Please follow him on Twitter. He is terrific on Twitter. Please follow him. Yeah, you can find him at Chakraview 1971. I'll just say it in front of him before he leaves. When I was growing up in New York as a little kid, the Indian Consul General was to me an old man because he was obviously older than I was. I was a little kid. I was 9 years old. I met the Indian Consul General and I thought, wow, he's really old. Now I know I'm old because I'm now older than the Indian Consul General. To me, you are young and dynamic. We wish you the very best. Thank you for leading us through this crisis. We appreciate you and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Manisha ji.
All right, Manisha ji, how do you respond to that? And then I want to bring Lavina and you into a conversation about movies. We want to uplift people. So I think that will be really welcome for folks to talk about and also we want to hear about Bollywood itself. So I'm just going to ask for a moment of pause so that people can reshare with their friends, with their families right now. Invite somebody who would benefit from hearing Manisha talking to Lavina about what's happening in the world of the arts. And we're so grateful to both of you for being here and everybody who's watching from around the world. Please tag your friends right now and please connect with me. My email is sree@sree.net. And if I can help you in any way, please let me know. We're just so grateful that you're watching. Tag your friends, bring them in. This is recorded also, so you can watch it later. And also, if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube, please do that. Just go to YouTube. Sreenet, SREENET is my YouTube channel. That's a great way for you to know when I'm live with these 30 straight days we've been doing this. So Lavina and Manisha, over to you. Manisha, how do you respond to all this love people are showing you? You're used to getting that on a regular basis, but I want to show you some of the comments that have come in. Arindam says, hello, Manisha, ma'am. Ashi says, Manisha ji, your health journey is an inspiration. Mark is pointing out to a friend that we are interviewing you, a cancer survivor. Daryl says that you are he's your biggest fan, and his favorite movies of yours are Bombay, Dil Se, 1942. I have a crush on you forever, probably still do. Not that there's anything wrong with that, he says. So over to you.
Well, thank you, Sree. I think I have to get used to doing this kind of communication more often now. Um, yeah, it's lovely to be here chatting, and would love to listen and answer the questions of my fans. Whoever are there, big hello, big namaskar to all of you. Stay home, stay safe. During these days, I know it's tough for all of us, but
Yeah, thank you. Let's bring in Lavina, and two of you can have a conversation. Lavina, you just saw one of her movies, right?
Yep, it's on Netflix. So, you don't have to go to a theater to see it. It's just made really for these times. So I was sitting on my sofa with a glass of wine and watching you. And it's a lovely movie. It's like a very atmospheric, lovely movie. It takes you into a Irani cafe, and it's a beautiful one. Could you tell me, was this a real cafe or was it a set?
oh, actually, Lavina, we had a wonderful art director, even my house was a set, and even the restaurant was a set. So basically, I mean, everything was a set, but of course, you know. Uh, we kind of did a lot of research, so it looked very real. It looks
I mean,
very
it looks
nice.
so real that I would have liked to go to it actually, that night, you know,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
the muska buns look so tempting that I've got to have it the next time I go to Bombay.
Can we play the?
absolutely. During filming of this thing, actually before filming, I went and visited a lot of cafes, Irani cafes, and really understood the whole culture and the thinking behind it all. I mean, it's so fascinating, and the whole Parsi culture was really fascinating, and I was honored to play a Parsi woman.
Hmm.
A lot of research work was being done. I had a diction coach who was with me throughout, and she actually introduced me, and she took me to Parsi colonies, to the food section, there's a very famous cafe called Kalyani Cafe in
Hmm.
Mumbai.
Yeah.
And we went there just to have bun maska, and so stuff like that. It was a wonderful journey playing that, understanding the culture, understanding the history, how they came to Mumbai, and how much they have contributed to Mumbai.
Yeah.
So all that was fascinating.
But this was a very different role for you, I think, from
Yeah.
and it's kind of a wonderful role because I mean, obviously you're not going to play a young sweetheart anymore, but it was such a nice, challenging role, you know. What did you think of it? I mean,
Yeah, I feel I always wanted to play my age,
yeah.
and I'm lucky to get roles, um, and different roles that I have been doing, and I'm playing my age. So I feel the times have changed in Indian cinema, and lot of people my age, a lot of actors my age, are getting very interesting roles to play, and for us it's a great time. And I think due to Netflix and a lot of such platforms, um, we are making some really interesting movies, interesting stuff to be watched. So I feel it's a great time for the viewers, because viewers can go to theater once this whole lockdown is over, of course, when situation is much better. But what I mean, and also sing at home, watching and pausing, and whenever you want to watch at your convenience, at your leisure, like you said, you did. Um, so I'm a Netflix buff too. I like to sit and just watch, binge on watching. Um,
But
so
are there any
Just wanted to show
roles?
everyone where the
Tell us
spelling of
about?
because we have a lot of international viewers right now,
Yeah.
so they can see that this is available on Netflix, Muska, and it's a 2020 film, and there she is on the cover. Determined to make it in showbiz, an aspiring young actor considers turning his back on his beloved Irani cafe run by the family for generations. And director Neeraj Udwani, writers Ishita Moitra, Neeraj Udwani, and the stars Javed Jaffrey, Preet Kamani, and of course Manisha Koirala. Tell us about the Netflix version of this, doing this versus trying to do movies for the giant screen. How do you feel about that? And then I know Lavina has some more questions. Folks, if you're watching right now, we are live in Mumbai and New York. Lavina's in New York, and Manisha Koirala, the big Bollywood star, cancer survivor, author of a book on that she titled "Healed: How Cancer Gave Me a New Life." She is with us right now for a little while longer. We have questions and comments coming in from around the world. We're live on Facebook, live on Twitter, live on YouTube, and live on LinkedIn. Please connect with us there. And I would love to have Manisha also go into her Twitter and one more time share this video so that everybody can see that. I will talk to Lavina for 1 second while you do that. So give you a chance to go onto your Twitter and share it if you can. Lavina, tell me. Sorry, go ahead. Manisha, you had a question? Is it possible?
So I will not be, because I will not be able to share this on the Twitter right now. I had to open a different thing.
Okay, so you'll do it afterwards, and then your fans can watch it then. No problem. So talk to us, please, about the big screen versus the small screen, and then Lavina will pick it up from there.
So basically, I mean, for us, it was not a big issue. It's the same camera and set and actors, and it's not that different at all. And in fact, if there is any different, I didn't notice. I would say that from the time I started my career, which is like 3 decades early, almost 3 decades. Since then, a lot has changed now. And films are, earlier on, we would take 1 year to finish one film. We were doing, 10, 12 films at a time. Like I would be running around doing from one set to another set, like 3 shifts. So 3 different sets. And so it used to be different. Now it's a lot more organized. We finished the entire film shooting in a month or 2 months at the max. And normally we do 2 or 3 max film a year. And so it's that is the change that has happened over the years. But I don't see much change from doing big theatrical film or some web films.
Also, Manisha, I was wondering, I mean, do you think the difference also now is that the scripts are much better, or they are, scripts for strong women? Do you find that?
I feel definitely that today it's the kind of cinema that we are watching. The women are getting better roles, and there is a wave of portraying women not only as a subordinate or a support system to the hero, but actually play a really important role in the film, whether it's OTT platform or it's a big theater release. I've seen there is a certain change even in the society.
Yeah.
Uh, there is a shift. There is an emergence of feminine power, I feel, and there is a strong sense of women voices coming together, and that whole support globally. I see that shift is happening.
Mm.
Women are coming forward and voicing their opinion. They're supporting each other, and it's reflecting in the films as well.
That's great. And during this lockdown period, is Bollywood on lockdown too? Or you can't really do a
Absolutely.
lockdown on ideas and people are working, from,
People are working from home.
yeah,
People are working from home, but we really can't do anything. I don't think all the shootings or everything people who were planning earlier on.
mm,
I think it's gonna take a pause for a while. It's gonna take a pause for you know till something really substantial comes out of the cure section. So
yeah.
it's going
I
to be
think
locked
that's,
down. But people who are creative, see, people who want to write. I spoke to a couple of my director, producer friends, and they said, Manisha, we are busy writing, and most of them now are creating their writing. But of course, the writing is a job which you can do sitting by yourself,
yeah.
and filmmaking is not. So filmmaking, you need to be out there, get collaboration of other people. So that I think is gone for a pause.
It's true, but I think it's going to be interesting also that with Zoom and things like that, that there might be more collaborations online now, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the people will automatically find a creative outlet,
Yeah.
creative ways to do things together. I'm sure that's going to happen. I think I saw something made already sitting at home from different parts of the world, and put it together to make it look like one film.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I think people will invent some creative ways of telling a story.
Yeah. That's great.
Folks, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have so many questions coming in. We want to not disappoint our fans who are asking questions. Folks, if I ask your question or we put your question on the screen like this, make sure you take a photo and tweet it so that there you are. You're talking directly to Manisha Koirala. She's being interviewed by Lavina Melwani. And let's just bring in some of the comments. Malati David says, I love you, Manisha. I'm from Chennai. No one will forget you're dancing with Arjun in Mudalvan, especially with the stick in between you both. Stay blessed. Nisha says hello. And we have so many comments coming in. Ron is watching from Dubai. I know you have lots of fans in Dubai. And my mother is watching in Trivandrum. So I want to give her a chance to take a quick photo of herself with you. You can see she's a Bharatnatyam dancer, and she will be very excited to have this shot of her with you in this manner. So thank you. We have just Sudha is saying, Manisha ji, you acted so well in 1942, the a love story. That was just so nice to see all these comments coming in. And our friend Vandana Menon, who is live tweeting Vandana_Menon, she says, question for Manisha and Lavina, do you think a film like Dil Se could be made in today's India? And if you can give a little context to that question, if you can understand that context and share that would be great.
Well, I don't know. I think depends. I am. This is made beautifully by Manisha. Manisha is excellent in telling a love story in troubled times. His Roja was that, Dilse was that, Bombay was that, and I mean, whenever there is a conflict, there is a turmoil, and there is a beautiful love story. Actually, in 1942, love stories also is kind of that. During
Yeah.
the freedom fight movement, the love story begins. Um, and I saw Vinod Chopra's the latest film where again it's in the conflict zone. There's a love story. Um, People have over the years made stories like that, made films like that. Whenever there is a conflict and a pain and a turmoil, and there emerges a beautiful love story. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Because the drama of life is in, conflict. And so love
Yeah.
really wins, and that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question here. Mark says, what kind of government help is the government giving to Bollywood right now?
At this point of time, the best thing for all of us is to stay at home, and our responsibility to wash hands, social distancing, and not getting infected. And in case we do get infected, then have the responsibility of going to the government hospital and going to the proper medical place where it's assigned to look after, which is equipped to look after patient. So that's actually, honestly speaking, it's each and every human being's, each and every person's responsibility. And government is actually doing enough to generate the awareness, to actually request people to, they have given a great guideline. There has been a proper lockdown. People are following it. I see even in Mumbai, because Mumbai has such a large amount of slum areas, and people, many people live in small spaces. So actually, there has been a lot of awareness going on. There's a lot of the cops are there, and salute to the cops, salute to the whole people who are actually risking their lives and going ahead and helping and trying to manage this. Be it doctors who are there to help and support, be it the cops who are there, and I mean each and every time there is. People are being actually supported by the government, and in that way, rather than any other format. At this time of time, the best thing is taking the responsibility and doing the right thing.
Thank you so much. We have some great comments coming in from, I'm trying to hide under this banner here. We have some great comments coming in. Lakshmi says, she's a star. Thanks for these calls. Laura says, I have a lot of films to add to my queue. So let's give some more suggestions. If you can just name some movies that Manisha, you want people to watch, yours and others. And then I'll also ask Lavina for some suggestions.
Okay, so in Netflix, I have, I think, 4-5 movies. Maska, which is my recent release. Prior to that, my movie with Deepti Naval. She, as a director, she Do Paise Ki Dhoop, Char Aane Ki Barish. That is there. There's another movie of mine called I Am. It's a collection of short stories by Onir. I think Dil Se is also there. Maybe Bombay is also there. Not sure, but Dil Se is there, I think. And Sanju, I had yeah. And in Amazon Prime, I have Dear Maya, and yeah, these are the movies I would suggest.
Say that again. We lost you for a second.
Yeah.
That movie you mentioned, the last one. Can you just say that on Amazon? You mentioned a movie just now.
It's called Dear Maya.
Dear Maya, terrific. Okay, Lavina, your suggestions for somebody who wants to watch Bollywood films or Indian films.
Well, I mean, I've recently discovered Netflix because I could never get Bollywood movies. Otherwise, I would just be watching little, music videos on YouTube and things like that. So I think there's a whole lot on Netflix right now, and some really good ones too. But Manisha, I mean, I don't know when 1942 is. If anybody can get that right now. Uh, I mean, that is the first movie I saw you in, and I've never seen
I
anybody so
think I,
gorgeous. So
it's there in. I think it's there in Netflix.
it
1942, A
is.
Love Story is there in
Yeah.
Netflix.
So I think if, somebody who hasn't seen your movies, they've really got to start with that because that is really gorgeous. And then, of course, for other movies, like I just discovered that anybody who hasn't seen Parasite, now's their chance because it's on Hulu.
You know,
So
I became a big fan of the director, and
yeah.
I watched. There are three movies. Out of that, I've seen two of them in
Mm,
Netflix already.
right. So right now, I think it's great. Whatever these streaming services have, there's a lot to see, and you can't leave the house anyway, so you might as well catch up on everything. And so, Manisha, next, what can we expect from you? Were you working on something before all this happened?
Actually, I was finishing a film till early March. Yeah, before the lockdown, couple of weeks before the lockdown, we were on floor. We were finishing a film by Dibakar Banerjee.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
so I forgot to mention Lust Stories as well. So that's also in Netflix. Please watch that.
Hmm.
So that was my first time working with Dibakar, and I really thoroughly enjoyed um, doing a film with him. I found him very intelligent, exceptionally intelligent storyteller. Um, so we just finished a film, and I think it'll probably release if everything goes well towards the end of this year or maybe next year, early next year. I did very interesting movie, and yeah, I mean, closer to the date, probably they would want me to talk more on that. But
Yeah.
it's really a very interesting film.
We have several more comments. Twyla says, happy to see Manisha. And she recommends a movie called Shoplifters for people who want to see this. Stefan says, we now have a highly recommended film list. Time for a film festival in Ramsey, New Jersey this week. And Malati says, Bombay, my favorite movie where you really lived. I like that description, really lived. And since you mentioned 1942, A Love Story, I'm just going to show the poster so that people can see that poster. Tell me that what was it like to work on that film? It's got such great music for people who aren't used to Bollywood films. This movie has amazing music, at least three songs that I know all the words to and I love. This is the story of a young Indian couple, both from wealthy backgrounds, find themselves caught up in the 1940s Indian revolutionary movement against their families, who are under the thumb of a sadistic British general, director Vidhu Vinod Chopra. And this was made in 1994. If you can go back to those days and tell us a little bit about, this is one of your first movies, not your very first, but it has left such a mark on the world.
Yeah, I feel during the making of this film, everybody was really geared up to do their best. Be it the camera person Binod Pradhan, be it Renu Saluja, who's not with us anymore. She was really exceptional editor. Of course, we know Chopra. He's a very passionate filmmaker, and Anil Kapoor, Jackie Shroff, Anupam Khirji, so many people in this movie. All of us were really geared up, and the whole thing was the music was done by R.D. Burmanji, and that was his last work, I think. And the most beautiful melodious songs. And Javed Saab has written the lyrics. So I think this movie, everybody was very inspired, and we really worked, and we enjoyed our work. I have very fond memories of that film. Uh, we used to wake up really early in the morning, do steep mountain climb for 1 hour, and then wait for the sun to rise and take the magic hour shots. And and it was winter, but nobody complained. Everybody was all geared up and charged up at 4 in the morning to uh, do the best work. And I think all of us are still very much connected. Even after so many years, we are still in touch, and we are still connected. Um, it's definitely has left mark in our hearts while doing this film.
Hi guys, just want to bring in some more comments, and my friend Alex, who's watching in Trivandrum in Tirunanthapuram in Kerala, says, I still remember watching 1942, A Love Story, when I was in final year of college with at least 10 of his classmates. And I have to tell you, Manisha, I still remember seeing that film. And if you had told me in 1994 that I would have a chance to get to know you and to host this event with you, I would have fainted. I'm sure Alex would have fainted as well to have this connection.
Absolutely.
Daryl is talking about a different film, so let's go to that film, and we can look at your your IMDb page, so we can talk about that. By the way, which movie is this shot from? Do you remember? This is your IMDb main photograph. So I know you don't control it, but which movie is that? Can you tell?
I am really sorry. The thing is, I can't remember as of now.
So
Sorry, this sounds bizarre, but when you do 90 plus movies, what do you expect?
exactly. So he's talking about Bombay, which is on the right on the screen, that last film that you see there. Bombay shocked me. Growing up in Trinidad, Hindus and Muslims loved one another and participated in each other's festivals and lives live in harmony. So seeing the hatred shown in that movie was quite shocking. So can you talk about that and any of the other films I'll be showing on the screen right now?
Yeah, I think there was a year where there was actually the riots had happened, and eventually the peace happened, and the matter got resolved. So as I said earlier, Manisha actually picks a troubled time and then tries to tell a love story in that. So this is about that, and of communal disharmony, and then a Muslim girl and a Hindu boy fall in love with each other, and they move to Mumbai, and the riots are happening, and how they are managing, and how eventually the peace happens. So
So this kind
Nitin
happens
says,
today too.
one second, Nitin says that Javed Saab had a very interesting story about Ek Ladki Ko Dekha To song. Do you know what that story is? And can you share it? And then we'll grant it some more questions. I also want to be conscious of the time. I just want to be conscious of the time, Manisha. I know it's late. It's evening in Delhi. I mean in Mumbai. Sorry. Of course, people don't eat dinner till very late. But if you can stay with us for another 10 minutes or so, we'd love to get in some more questions from your fans. If you can talk about that song, please go ahead.
Well, I think he said that song wasn't written keeping me in mind. So, so I think I saw his interview saying that. So, yeah, that's.
Yeah, and I know Lavina has a question.
No, I was just saying that earlier you had asked that could such a movie be made today? And again, times are so troubled. I think it could, because there's so much conflict everywhere that a kind of Bombay could be made again, I think.
Well, I think as long as there's humanity, there is going to be a conflict, and also the conflict would eventually get resolved. That's the human nature. We've seen it. We see it happening in our families as well. We see that happening between husband and wives, the fights between whatever, and the conflict automatically gets resolved. I mean, so I guess that could definitely be made in today's time or in future time or in the any time. I'm sure.
Right.
But let's my I feel the positive twang to the present crisis today. I think we will emerge as a better human being after this coronavirus,
I hope
because
so.
for the
Yeah.
first time in history, the whole, I mean, not history, I mean many years back probably, but we are facing crisis together. It doesn't matter whether it's happening in America or in the East. It doesn't see whether you're black or white or yellow or XYZ color.
Yeah.
It doesn't differentiate which part of the world or which strata of society you belong to. If you get exposed, you will get the disease
Very
and the
true.
trouble. And I feel this kind of a crisis has somewhere impacted, will somewhere impact us, and make us understand about the fragile life that we have, and to value things that are dear to us, and actually look at life differently. So somewhere I think this would bring us all together, and would make us better human being. I think humanity will eventually prevail.
Yeah.
We have
Absolutely.
some great comments coming in. One of our viewers says he just saw Electra last night. I'm just showing your filmography here. Twyla says, great to see Lavina Melwani also. That's nice. My friend Hari Srinivasan caught me admonishing somebody in my family off camera. So that was pretty funny. This is the new world we live in right now, not perfection. And we have a comment here from Rose Horowitz, who said, wonderful to see you, Manisha. I created a popular hashtag, women to follow, and have been writing profiles of women in different fields. I'd love to arrange an interview with you for women to follow. And she's given her Twitter handle, Rose
Would love that.
Horowitz one. And Nitin says, I'm inspired by her to have fought addiction and come out strong. And Mark is talking about his podcast. So everybody wants to invite you. Twyla says, wise comments that we are one world, which is really important. And then Daryl has a critical question. He says, I wanted to ask you, are you allergic to saris? I rarely see you
No.
wear them.
I love saris. I love
She looks
saris.
gorgeous in saris. Yeah.
Yeah, I love cotton saris. I have a great collection of saris, and I think it's the most graceful attire. But definitely, you will not find me wearing saris at home. It's it's little cumbersome to walk around in a sari at home. But of course, for the events or when I'm going out, I love wearing cotton saris.
I want to show everybody how you use Twitter because you use it in such a good way. Here's your Twitter account. Tell us what people can find there. What are the kinds of things you are sharing and posting? They can all follow you, M. Koirala. What does this mean? A constant observer to an alchemist. Tell us what that means.
Basically, it's a spiritual quest to be watchful of your thoughts, being watchful of yourself, and whenever anxiety happens, whenever fear happens, be mindful of not getting swayed by that thought, but being watchful. So, and automatically, when you're watching your thoughts, observing your thoughts, you do change the pattern. You do realize the power is within you. Anyways, that was that. And I'm actually posting stuff on Twitter, which could be helpful information, a positive information. Very very rarely I will post something negative when I feel I need to voice it. Then only I post something negative or depressing or sad. More or less, I try and read as many information, correct information, and also positive information. I tweet about that, retweet about that, things like that. That's a picture of me trying to write something.
It's a great photograph. Let's talk. Just tell us each of these pictures. I'll just scroll through, and you can just tell us what you're thinking, doing in these pictures, your family, whatever. Just tell us.
That's my parents, my mom and dad. That's the time. We're lighting candles to show solidarity with everyone across the globe, praying for the world and to come out stronger and collectively. That's I'm showing how to wash hands. That was a UN challenge. Um, so I did that. It's correct way of washing hands and sanitizing, and
I
that's the
love
way.
that. You will have helped so many people. Okay, what is happening here?
That's the film.
Yeah,
Straight from the film Maska. Um, yeah, that's also one of the promos we shot during Maska, which was shot recently for the promotional time. Uh, Well, this is the bell again saying thank you to the doctors, to the health workers, to people out there risking their life, their safety for us, So it's basically ringing bells and saluting them. This is again saluting the doctors and the nurses and the health professionals. This is actually during Muscat training time. I went around a couple of places to understand. This is Muscat, the film poster. This was during the promotion of Muscat again. Again, during the promotion of Muscat. This was again SARC members, coming together and doing this con call.
There's a
Uh,
sari.
there is the SARC. It's
We
the
should
way
also
party wears
entire
sari.
the Gujarati way.
Yeah, we should tell everybody who may not be familiar with your work that you're actually from Nepal. You happen to be in Mumbai now. Talk about Nepal a little bit. We worry about countries like India and Nepal in these times of crises, but Nepal has also been doing relatively well, right?
Yes, I think there have been only 6 cases so far, although there's not been enough testing done.
Yeah.
Um, but the Prime Minister Oli has called for a lockdown, and people are following it, hopefully. And there shouldn't be too many cases. We're just crossing our fingers. Yeah.
Tell us about this photograph.
This is during Akele Hum Akele Tum. This is during Akele Hum Akele Tum. We did the shoot for Cineblitz, the magazine Cineblitz. Amir Khan and me.
And what memories do you have of Amir and working with him?
Well, he's a professional. Actually, I'm in full admiration of him because he's evolved as an actor. He's such a good human being, doing such big, nice charities silently, and he's a great actor. He's a great actor to work with.
He really is. Prem Yadav is watching from Mumbai. He's a fan, and he says, ask her about her first experience in Saudagar movie with Raj Kumar and Dilip Kumar, the legends of Bollywood. India wants to know, he says.
It was really fabulous that on my first film itself, I got the opportunity to work with such legends, and I mean, what can I say? I mean, to get their blessings during the shoot itself. I remember Dilip Saab called. My mother used to accompany me during those days, and Dilip Saab called my mom and said, "Iska nazar utar lena," So I was really floored with the kind of blessings I got. And Raji, also amazing human being, and it was a huge honor for me to be working with them.
And I think we can see the photograph here. Let me see if I can pull it up of the movie. On the right, you can see it, Saudagar. There's a photo of you. What's happening in that picture? And you've got some stars around you on the picture on the extreme right.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I think there was a song sequence we were shooting. So this is a shot between me and Vivek, Mushran, and Raji and Dilip Kumar, sir.
And when you were this is your first film, tell us about that first day. There's a wonderful documentary about Amitabh Bachchan in which he talks about, it's available on YouTube, where he talks about that first day when he went on set and he knew that his life would never be the same again. He knew he would never be the same again. Can you talk about that? Did you have that feeling? Did you know you were going to stay in Bollywood, that you had a career? Could you see a path for yourself?
Honestly speaking, I was very, very naive. I was just out of school, and I was 17, 18-year-old, and um, I was very scared. I remember the time that I was very intimidated with this whole film world and the people, actors, and everybody. I was looking at everybody in awe, but also hiding it because I was very fearful and shy. Um, and I would hardly talk to people. And honestly, I had no idea that I would have such a long career. I would last. Um, I didn't even know that it will sustain my interest. Because for me, I thought I'll always, leave and go to UK or go to US. I don't know. I mean, I was one of those young ones who really didn't know where my direction was, where my career was, except that. I had a streak of working a lot. I got this opportunity and I really want to make the best use of it. I really wanted to work hard. And I got, after getting such a great platform, I also started getting a lot of other good directors coming and guiding me and taking me working. So slowly, I think I saw a path emerging, but I had no idea. And I do remember my first day of the shoot. I was very nervous. I was very shy, and I also remember Madhuri Dixit ji had come and seen me and encouraged me during my first day of shoot. So
here are some more pictures that we're sharing here. People
New
can
York,
see.
by the way. This is the New York during
That's
my
awesome.
trip.
That's awesome. Here we're just looking at your Twitter feed, all these great photos. You're really trying to help people, connect them. There's Greta. You're talking about you've got such an interest in other things than just the film business. There, you even retweeted our video, so thank you for that. Such an honor. Here you're talking about what's happening in India. So there's just so much. Everyone should follow Manisha. I think it's there's great. There's an interview you did, correct?
Yes. This is during the promotion of Maska. It was during Women's Day where Netflix got all the women together. It was a great event.
And you revealed the thing you like least about your character, Diana Irani, in the Netflix India original Maska. So what was that?
Not, it's given that title, but it's basically my character. She abuses at a drop of a hat, and but the abuse doesn't make you cringe. It's actually quite adorable the way she says her dialogues. So.
Yeah.
But I had to get used to that.
No, that's great. So we're going to wrap up here. We just want to give you a chance to give us a couple of final thoughts. And Lavina, you can ask one more question. Daryl says you're the Meryl Streep of Bollywood. You are the best actor.
Daryl, thank you so much. I love Meryl Streep, and it's such a huge compliment for me. I'm a big fan of her work.
So Lavina, we'll go to you. Final comment and maybe even a question from you, and then we'll go to Manisha.
Yeah. Manisha, I was just thinking that, you've had such a sort of, life where you've gone through so much. So now that we are in this crisis, what can you advise us all to do?
Yeah, Lavina, I think there's a lot um, I could say, but this situation reminded me of my something much tougher that I faced,
Mm.
and being locked into my apartment. And in New York, I had a much smaller apartment, and the fear reminded me the kind of fear I had that time. Obviously, this fear is nothing compared to what I had then, but still, it's a fear. And I had anxiety. I had fear because I was working till early March, and the mind starts going into dancing mode and
Mm.
starts what if I stuff like that. So I luckily I first of all also we get unnecessary WhatsApp messages telling us all sorts of wrong things. So uh, it added to my stress. So luckily I had good doctors who are my friends and family, and
Mm.
I kind of verified the news with them, and I started asking them the questions, and I completely I've been very observant and very this thing about the news from the right sources, and
Right.
trying to do the right thing. And so now what we are doing as a family, I'm with my parents here.
Mm.
Actually, after my film got released and after the promotion work was over, we were heading back to Nepal, but then this lockdown happened, so we are here now together.
Mm.
And so we have, as a family, have maintained certain schedule. I specifically do like my morning chores. I keep myself busy with. I have a small terrace, so I do
Mm.
gardening. I do my walks. I do a little bit of exercises. But my first half of the morning is completely looking after my physical self,
Yeah.
and walks, and just generally being physically active, because that's the time I am best physically active. During later half, I don't like to work out or be active. And then also we try and eat nutritional food, lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, lots of dry fruits, haldi pani, the turmeric tea, turmeric water.
Mm.
We make kara at home with tulsi and adrak, and there's a way to make kara. So we drink a lot of warm liquids as well. Um Kadhas and turmeric water, and a lot of vitamin C. I was also reading somewhere that vitamin A, B, C, and D are excellent. So D
Mm.
get during first early morning sun,
Yeah.
and vitamin A, B, and C we can have either the supplements or through the fruits and vegetables.
Right.
And so since my parents are 70 plus. So we try and eat as much nutritional meal as possible, not too much of fried food, but of course it has to be tasty and yet healthy. And we
Mm.
try to eat that. And then also as a family we sit together, mom and me, we watch movies together. Dad likes to watch different kinds. Sometimes dad wants to join us, so we all watch a film together. um, and then in the night again we sit and talk. uh, I kind of request my parents not to watch too much of news of corona, because that will scare. And that's used to happen during my cancer treatment too, because I used to go on net to figure out the statistics of people who got infected, people who had my kind of cancer. And
Mm.
the statistics which was available on the net was actually pretty grim. And
Yeah.
the more I would read about it, the more depressed and I would get. So I had consciously decided after fiddling around for a couple of weeks that I am not going to read any more sad news. I will only put my mind into positive news. And that's the thing which I follow even now, is just trying to go for positive news. Just put the mind into the positive space. So basically, physical well being and mental well being is really, really important during this time. I feel.
Yeah.
That's great advice. Great advice. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lavina, I just want you to know that you are one of our dearest friends here in New York, and just to see you here like this and sharing your views and being the great reporter you are the most prolific writer I know among our community of journalists at Saja. So thank you for everything you do, Lavina. And people can follow you at Lavina Melwani. And they can also see Lassi with Lavina, as well as you're writing very much about what's happening in the US and India. So I salute you and thank you very much. Hope you'll come back on our show, Lavina.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Lovely talking to you, Lavina. Lovely talking.
Manisha, this is like a dream come true to be on the same screen as you.
We should be more often of this.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye, Lavina.
you.
That was great. So, Manisha, I want to just give you a chance to just talk a little bit more. Give us your final thoughts for now. We hope you will come back. Want to tell everybody about your book, which they can get on Amazon or wherever they are in the world. International bestseller, Manisha Koirala's book with Neelam Kumar, Healed, How Cancer Gave Me a New Life. There are some amazing photographs in this book, including some really memorable ones that people will see. And they'll also see you in a relaxed mode, just as they're seeing you now, without all the movie star accompaniments. And I think that's really special. So over to you for a couple of last thoughts, and then we'll say goodbye.
Well, thank you, Sree, for doing this, first of all. And it's lovely to talk to my fans, my friends, and I just have to say that it's a tough time for all of us, and we all are in this together. So please stay safe, stay home, stay indoors, keep hygienic, keep healthy mind and body. It's a tough time, but we all can come out of it, emerge as a winner collectively. We all can come out of it together.
I love that. Twyla says, really wonderful show. And I want to show everybody again this photograph that we have framed. Unusual in our time of digital things. We framed this in our house. And I'm wearing the same kurta. And Twyla is right here in the photo. And she says, really wonderful show. I love that we could make that connection. I see Dr. Marina Kurian, who's here, who has been on my show multiple times. Rupa is here. We are just so grateful, Manisha, for your being just a regular person with all of us and connecting with us. People are seeing great shows. And Sajan says, just started watching. That's okay. This will be rerunning right now. As soon as we say goodbye, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, please, all of you, including Manisha, please hit share and retweet this so that more people can do this. Tell her I'm a proud father because he knows you. And Courtney says, good morning. We'll start watching Manisha's movies now, which is great. And Stefan says, Manisha, your spirit has inspired us all this morning. Bless your heart. Stefan has a new show that he's hosting where he's interviewing photographers, and his next photographer is from India. So that's a wonderful touch, and people can catch his show and really learn in this moment. And he's going to be interviewing Ranita, a photojournalist, Ranita Roy, a photojournalist based in Mumbai. So that's in Kolkata, another great Indian city. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye to Manisha ji. Give her back. She sat for 2 hours with us.
Bye.
Amazing.
Thank you. It was lovely. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. And you'll share this on your Twitter so that everybody can join us. We're just so lucky to have her. Thank you. Wasn't that incredible? We do this every day as long as the crisis is on. Please share with your friends. Please follow me on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. Connect with me. Suggest guests, please. We want to have more folks from around the world able to join us. Sunday night is our positivity show where we will talk about positive things, 9 p.m. Eastern. Please join us for that. And we also have Saturday morning, 8:30 a.m. East, Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern to 10:30. We'll meet a doctor and we will meet an author for the New York Times Read Along, the print Sunday New York Times Read Along. Please join us on these channels. And also wanted to give you another way to get an alert when I'm live. You just go on to WhatsApp and just WhatsApp this. Use your camera to take a picture of this QR code. You take a picture of this QR code and you will be able to join my WhatsApp group so you get alerts when we are live. Otherwise, just email me. You see my address there, sree@sree.net. We'd love to have you. It's not a WhatsApp group. It's only an alert list, only an announcement list. So not one of those crazy WhatsApp groups, but we would love to have you join us. Just do connect with us there. I also want to thank our sponsors. Maybe you have somebody who would like to sponsor this, or maybe you would like to sponsor someone else. You have a message for someone else. You can do that. Here is frontlinefoodtrucks.com. A third-party donor donated this ad. Frontline Food Trucks is raising money at frontlinefoodtrucks.com so that they can feed the doctors, nurses, and it's wonderful. La Colombe and Sweet Green and Chobani are all sponsoring and donating their food. You can donate money right now, frontlinefoodtrucks.com. We'd really appreciate it. Look how cheap our ads are, folks. You may not have anything you want to advertise, but you can support, you can take out an ad for one of your organizations, a nonprofit that you love, or anything you want to get the word out on. And along those lines, Pratham USA is an organization that I've been working with for such a long time, and they are doing incredible work in the middle of this crisis in India. Their RISE campaign, Responsive Innovation to Sustain Education campaign. Please check them out. Please go to prathamusa.org right now. Right on the front page, you can see the RISE campaign, and you can donate and support the work that they're doing in India to make sure education continues at a time when not everybody has a computer, not everybody has access, but they're doing incredible cutting edge work. And in the work I've done with them, I have learned things that would benefit American education. So please check them out. Many of you know that I got to go to the Nobel Prize ceremony this past year because the economic winners for the Economics Nobel Prize, Abhijit Banerjee and Esther Duflo, both of them did their work and got their Nobel partly for their research on Pratham. So please check them out. Pratham USA on all the social channels at Pratham USA and prathamusa.org. Make a donation. That was an ad that can tell you kind of work that we are helping and supporting on these shows. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of my Saturday here in New York. It's Saturday morning. You might be watching this at another time. I have a spin-off show on WBAI. We call it Coping with COVID-19, a helpful, hopeful show. We talk to doctors and experts. It's on WBAI 99.5 FM here in New York City, as well as around the world on WBAI.org. WBAI.org. Hope you will join us for that show, noon to 2 Eastern time every Saturday. And that show exists because of you and your incredible support of the work we're doing. I'm so grateful to all of you. Sree@sree.net, at Sree Sreenet on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, please email me if I can help you with anything. If you have a show that you would like to host, we can help you with that. I have a team standing by of incredible producers. We want to work with you. As you know, this is my work outside of teaching. This is what I do, helping people get smarter on digital and on social. Thank you very much, everybody. We're so grateful to each and every one of you for being here and for being part of our digital community. Rose says that Manisha was down to earth, which we love. And Sajan says, namaste, happy Easter in advance. Love the alert me, reminded me, thank you. And Stefan says he loves Pratham. And Courtney says, Pratham USA looks amazing. It really is. They have chapters across the country. They make the money that they raise goes to India. And one of the things that they're not able to do are these regular galas where they raise money. And so we're looking for partners and collaborators to work on that. But thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. You can join me 3 more times this weekend. noon to 2 on WBAI.org so that you can watch my and listen to my show where we talk to experts. Coping with COVID, a helpful, hopeful show. 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Sunday morning is all the New York Times read along. We have a wonderful author joining us as well as a doctor. And then finally, 9 p.m. Sunday nights, our amazing positivity show on these networks, on these channels. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm so grateful to all of you. I am very, very happy to be here with you in these difficult times. Thank you for helping me be in touch with you. Bye-bye, everybody. We're so grateful. Bye.